Justin, Nintendo and Xbox have both recently, not necessarily announced, but more of like in investors' calls and things like that. It seems like they are raking in billions of dollars from their live service offerings. Microsoft apparently made $2.9 billion from Game Pass last year, like in 2021, according to Brazil's regulatory board. We've heard from them actually recently in regards to the Activision Blizzard deal, because they, first of all, it went through in terms of Brazil's board, but they had some pretty open communication with Xbox and with the public about what exactly was going on there. So $2.9 billion from Xbox Game Pass. That is a lot of money. You know, we've talked about on this show, like, how do they have so much money to put so much stuff on there and offer it at such a low price and such a great price, especially with like the family model that's going to be coming eventually and stuff like that. But that's how you do it, man. $3 billion essentially from Game Pass. Like, that is so much money.
I think, to be fair, this article by Video Games Chronicle by Chris Scullion mentions that it does not include like overall profit.
Gotcha.
So,
right. Yeah. So
it's how much subscriptions are bringing in without how much it costs to keep things on there. So I'm sure that number is still closer. But regardless, like, you start doing the math about finding out how much people are spending for Game Pass and how many people are actually, like, you know, on Game Pass. I think that's huge. And to have that kind of like consistently growing revenue, I think is a great way to keep growing the business and putting more money into Game Pass. And the more money Game Pass brings in, the more cool shit we get on Game Pass, and the happier I am to talk about how I'm playing the same game on Switch that I paid full price for.
Yeah, exactly. You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. This same Brazilian regulatory board says that Nintendo's total digital revenue in 2021 was roughly $3 billion, and that Nintendo Switch Online subscriptions were about a third of that, so about $1 billion for Nintendo from Nintendo Switch Online. It's not clear like what the breakdown between like just straight up subscribers who are doing Nintendo Switch Online versus the expansion pack and everything are, but still $1 billion is a lot of money. And like, to my understanding, Nintendo has a lot of money, but it does not have Microsoft money. Because, I mean, Microsoft money, like, not only includes Xbox, but, like, we've sort of talked about this before. Like, Xbox is sort of like Microsoft's little pet project, where it's like, yeah, go ahead and do video games, whatever, I don't care. And they have enough money to throw at it they had enough money to throw at it to make it into something really substantial. Whereas, like, Nintendo, like, they're not making computers as well. They're just solely devoted to games. So $1 billion for them is also, I mean, that is a substantial amount of money, but specifically for how much they are worth in comparison to something like Microsoft, I think is pretty significant. What do you think?
And a lot of that stuff, I mean, sure, they have some of the Genesis stuff on there. A lot of that's their own property.
Yep.
Totally.
So
when we're talking about revenue versus how much you're actually like making here versus profit, probably a higher percentage of that goes to Nintendo.
Oh yeah, right, 100%. And like, they're not putting, like, yes, they're putting things for free on there, but it's not like new games.
Yeah,
You know
right,
what I mean?
right. It's like stuff they've already had and it's theirs, and they might like they put work into some of the stuff, like not significant work, but some work into some of it, and you know, also like things like the Mario Kart, you know, expansion passes on there, some like things like are on there that are like added values, which are great. But a lot of it does come back to it being Nintendo first party stuff. So it's not like they're paying someone else for it. It still kind of goes into like, well, people aren't buying this anyway. Or people have been buying Mario Kart at a pretty significant clip. So I think we can bring this in here and still get people to subscribe to our service.
100% agree. I just think those numbers are always interesting. Just peeling back a little bit of like, here's what makes the games industry go round. Because, I mean, $1 billion, $3 billion, it's a lot of money.
We're now going to count to 1 billion in order to help show how much money that is. All right, are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead. Start
1, 2, 3,
4,
5,
6,
7,
8,
9,
10,
11,
12,
13,
14.
15.
How long will this be funny for, you think?
It was getting funnier.
Also, it's worth pointing out that we don't have any information about like Sony's stuff, specifically about what is that called? PlayStation
Network
Plus?
Yeah.
PS
oh,
Plus?
yeah, sorry. Yeah, PlayStation Plus gold bonus.
But I will say, if Nintendo is able to make $1 billion off of maybe the worst online service ever created, I imagine that Sony is also like doing just fine. Maybe not $1 billion yet because it hasn't been out for a full year, but I have to imagine that their services are not hurting or anything.
I'm gonna do a hard counter on that one, that it's the worst service ever, because like it's cheaper than the rest, and I think like
That's
getting
true.
like the library of like some of the classic games. I think it's worse when you think of it as to the fact that many people have already bought those games in 3 different console generations, so like they still don't own them. But I still think like the amount of things you can play on there to fill that backlog of top games of all time that you get to play on there is pretty cool. Plus you get to play online, which is pretty standard, I think, through all the online services right now too.
Yeah.
You just don't get those like free games, but nothing comes close to Game Pass, and I don't care. I cannot never make an argument about why Game Pass is not the best deal in video games ever.
I simply don't. Like, I
couldn't
get that some
picture-
people just don't like. I get that some people don't like Xbox. I understand that, but to not like Game Pass and to not see like the value in Game Pass and to not be able to like admit like, hey, this service is nuts because it's so good. I can't understand why people are like that. But they're angry and I am happy because I am playing Plague Tale Requiem the day it comes out. Whatever.